Subscribing to The Observer on YouTube couldn't be easier, and we're going to show you exactly how to do that. First, navigate to www.youtube.com/theobservernj. Once you get there, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button. Next to the subscribe button, click the down arrow and then all. And that's it. You're subscribed, and now anytime The Observer is live, you will be notified.
You can now listen to the Observer Live podcast in languages other than English. Here's how. First, click on the Settings tab right here. Then, look up for audio track and click on that. Then, scroll around for different languages, find the one that you want to hear everything in, and click on it. And it's that simple. Now you can listen to everything in the language of your choice on the Observer Live podcast. Hi again, everybody. It's Kevin Knessa coming to you live from the home studio on this, the 18th day of August in the year 2026. Sure hope you're enjoying your Tuesdays, no matter where it is you are in the country. Here in the Northeast, Tony Mondero is with me to tell us what the weather is like. So without any further ado, the illustrious longtime director of the Harrison Weather Center, Tony Mondero, joins us. Good afternoon, Tony.
Good afternoon, Kevin. 5 inches of rain officially now for the month. We're making some good headway with our drought, and I think if this keeps up by middle of autumn, I think the drought will be officially over, which is really nice. We've been suffering with that now for about a year or two, and I think finally it's going to be gone. Right now, currently 88 degrees in downtown Kearny, New Jersey, and nearby communities, and a nice, light wind going on. But we still have that darn humidity. I think, Kevin, it will be bouncing back and forth with the heat and humidity right through the weekend, as it is unsettled at some days. I think the rainy day is going to be Thursday into Thursday night with a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Some of the thunderstorms may be quite heavy once again. And in about 6 to 10 days, I think we actually start to get cooler, where high temperatures can be below normal daytime highs, with high temperatures only around 70 to 75 degrees in about a week to 10 days. Some will look forward to. I know we were talking about the high humidity before we got on air, and hopefully we'll have a pretty good time of it.
I don't know if Lisa is watching us right now back at the office, but if she is, she hates this time of year because the summer winds down, we get into the fall, and then it becomes winter. She says the word winter is a curse, just like the word Mets is a curse. So I got a reminder that we're getting much, much closer to the autumn season here. We only have a couple weeks of summer left, right? I mean, I can't... Tell me this, hasn't this gone fast this year, or is it just in my imagination?
To me, it's gone fast, yes, so without a doubt. And it's kind of been, weather-wise, it's really been, between heavy rain and, the heat. Remember, earlier in July, we were 106 degrees, and, during this winter time, we were down as low as 3 degrees. It's, and we had a blizzard this year. We have heat waves, severe weather. It's been an active weather year. Right now, thankfully, the tropics, and we expect them to remain quiet. But remember, Kev, that the quiet's just a false sense, because even in quiet years in 1992, I think we've said this once before, we had Hurricane Andrew. We know what Andrew did to South Florida. So we always have to be on guard as we approach the height of hurricane season, for us anyway, which is September and early October.
The word El Nino also in Spanish means the baby. And back in 1998, when I ran for town council, when I was 22 years old, the former proprietor of the Hudson Press used to call me El Nino because he thought I was too young to run for office. But 1998 reminds me also of the weather pattern. How much is this year's El Nino contributing to the weirdness of this weather this year? Does it have anything to do with it? I don't get it.
It may be because of the rainfall, Kevin, and we are a little bit warmer than we're supposed to be. Now, whether that translates into the winter, coming into the winter, remains to be seen. It certainly is translated into the hurricane season, where the long-range hurricane forecasters forecasted a quiet season,
Yeah.
and so far they're correct. But we're getting into the heart of that hurricane season, and let's see what happens in the next few weeks to a month or so. As far as development down there in the Atlantic Basin, I know we'll be watching every disturbance here.
Has there even been a hurricane yet in the Atlantic yet this season? I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, nothing in the. It's all have been. Most of it has been in the Gulf of Mexico, and we're
Okay.
up to the D storm, which next storm will be Dolly. That will be the
Wow.
next storm name.
Now, I know this is a little bit too early, but my Uncle Michael is coming in from California on the 16th of September, and he wants a forecast for that. I think it's a little too early for that, isn't it, Tone?
Yeah, to have Uncle Mike check with us in a couple of weeks as we get a little bit closer. Right now, it'll be just a social media crapshoot with some acidine forecasts of something crazy. So yeah, we don't want to ever go down that rabbit hole.
Or we could pretend like we're like TV news and say there's going to be a massive hurricane that week, right now, right?
Yeah, Kevin, I don't know. I think sometimes these broadcast meteorologists they get a bad rap only because their news producers really want them to hype up the weather, and then when they're wrong or something doesn't pan out, it puts them in a bad light. I know. Thankfully here at the Observer, I'm free to forecast wherever we need to forecast without any pressures of hyping it up to get the more clicks or more viewers. I think we will get our viewers just on being honest and giving the most accurate weather forecast for this local area than we possibly can bring you.
I've always said that there's never been a time where you gave us a false sense of security. You've never had people running out, going out and buying dozens of eggs when they didn't need to do anything like that. It's always been right down the line. And most of the time, 99% of the time, accurate. And we couldn't ask for more than that. And I appreciate that. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, we thank you for the kind words, Kev. There's a lot of hours that go into this. Even when the cameras go off and we're off the air, we're looking and working at something. Those out and about this afternoon, be watchful, as you could maybe have a scattered shower or thunderstorm this afternoon too, especially in this area and to the points east. So we had a little disturbance hang up overnight. We thought we would get overnight clearing. We didn't. We wound up with a little bit of rain overnight, and hopefully the bulk of that has passed us. But there still could be a little something this evening. It'll be widely scattered, but just be mindful if you're out and about.
If you're just joining us, Tony Mondero of the Harrison Weather Center is here with us, as he is each and every Tuesday to start off each broadcast. What else is going on, Tone?
Glad to see our Mets are doing better, Kev. 9 of the last 12, and they're playing very well right now, and that's good. And I never asked you, are you a football fan at all?
I really don't care too much about it as much as I do hockey and baseball. I mean, I will watch the Giants on occasion during the fall especially, but usually the Giants are so bad by the end of September that I'm done with football by October, and then I get right into the hockey season. But I always liked the beginning of the first week of football because it just brings, that sense of renewal. Kids are going back to school. I used to love going back to school as a teacher and things like that. But football is probably, I would say, number 4 of my 4 sports.
Right.
And you're a Jets fan, Tony?
Yeah, I like the Jets and the Giants. I'll support both of them. I'll even support the Yankees when the Mets are totally out of it, and say if the Yankees make the playoffs or the World Series. I will root for home team. I would say I think that what trumps after baseball for me is Seton Hall basketball. I'm a big college basketball guy, so I like to watch my college basketball. And I am a pretty big hockey fan. I like the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, I'm ready for the hockey season to get started, and it's going to be a little bit earlier this year than usual. They used to play like a full complement of preseason games. Now every team plays only 4 preseason games, and they will start the first week in October. So, and with both of the teams around here, the Devils have a new general manager. The Rangers made a lot of trades and acquisitions in the offseason. So I got a better feeling about this hockey season than last one, because last one absolutely sucked.
Yeah, it's terrible. You know, we're waiting for the Devils to make the playoffs again, and it's been a while, right? It's been a few years since the
Yeah,
Devils
it's
have been
been
in the
2 years.
postseason.
They made them 2 years ago, but the problem is, the last couple of years they made the playoffs. They're out in the second round by the second round or the first round. You know, they did have that one incredible series against the Rangers where they beat them in 7 games after going down 2-0. Sorry, Uncle, but it's what happened. I can't hide that. And then after that, that was it. You know, they just had one good playoff series. That's it in the last what is it, 14 years now? Because you remember in 2012, they made it to the Stanley Cup final against the Kings, lost in 6 games there, and then barely made the playoffs maybe 2 or 3 times since then. So there needs to be some movement this year. I'm telling you that right now. And if there's not, I don't know what the hell to say anymore. I really don't.
Yeah, I wish you the best of luck with that,
Yes.
Kev. 'Cause I know you're a big hockey guy, such as I am. I like to see the Devils do very well this year. It'll be pretty good.
Yes.
Listen, before we forget, like and subscribe, everybody. Because without you, we can't be. And Kevin does a tremendous job every week with delivering the local news and local activities around here. I think the pop button issue I read on social media today, the people in Harrison are upset about the parking situation. So I don't know.
No. Oh, that's something new. You never hear that. You never hear that on social media, right? Good God. You know, there's only one solution to fixing parking here. If you're a resident around here, move. It's really it.
Yeah,
There's people are still going to be here. There's just so little that can be done. Oh my God, it's a headache that won't go away.
yeah. And
Yeah.
another word about the sludge plant. I think I'm going to wind up jumping out the window. You know, I have never seen any of our town fathers saying they want a sludge plant in town. So it's another hot button issue here in town that just drives me nuts. You know.
Yep. Absolutely. And we will see what happens there. We'll see what happens with parking. I'm not expecting much movement on that one. That's for sure. But Tony, it's always a
Absolutely.
pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Yes.
And let's do it again.
Yeah. Absolutely. And to wrap it up, Kev, folks, a nice day tomorrow. Wednesday, probably the nicest day in the next several. And then we're unsettled. Look for a chance of a shower, thunderstorm, especially Thursday night. Might get a little brief break on Friday, and then unsettled into the weekend as well. What I mean about unsettled, mix of sun and clouds, and that threat of a shower and storm. Doesn't rain all the time, but just the threat will be there. High temperatures mainly in the upper 70s to lower 80s, especially over the weekend. Could hit 90 today in some spots, and also again on Friday it'll be well into the 80s. Overnight low temperatures will go back down to the 60s to perhaps near 70 degrees. And have a nice program this afternoon, and we will see you next week.
See you next week, brother. Thank you very much, Tone. We'll see you next week, okay? There he is, the one and only Tony Mondero, he of the Harrison Weather Center. And we will now go from Tony to Jenny Paz, who is waiting, and she should be here on the screen with us. She's going to talk a little bit about Project Graduation and the Kearney Public School Uniform Exchange. What am I saying? I'm talking out of my rear end. Sorry. Jenny, good afternoon.
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Okay, good to see you. So tell us what's going on right now because we're right in the middle of the uniform exchange. I can't believe how it just kind of snuck up on us here. And you've been working on it for months and months. So what's going on right now?
So on Sunday we had our first uniform distribution, which was good. We didn't have a great turnout, which I think was our mistake. We wanted to do it on Sundays and give it a shot this year, but didn't work out. There was not a good attendance, so we have opened up and changed actually the next distribution days. They were scheduled for the next 2 Sundays, so instead of this coming Sunday, the 23rd, for the last uniform distribution and only for grades 7th through 12th, we've moved that to Wednesday, the 26th, and that is going to be for all Kearney Public Schools.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll get a good turnout. Our donations are still down on uniforms. So if you guys, if anyone has uniforms laying around their house that are no longer in use or don't fit your kids anymore, please visit our drop-off locations, which is Kearney Town Hall, the Soccer Post, and Bubble Land Laundromat.
Yeah.
But our school supplies distribution has also changed. Instead of August 30th, that will be on Wednesday, September 2nd, just to in the evening at 7 p.m. All events, the next two events are in the evening at 7 p.m. Just to
Okay.
give people who go away on the weekends or with family and at events on weekends, they can just come out in the evening after dinner.
Just remind everybody where all of these things happen too.
They are at the American Legion at 314 Belgrove Drive.
314 Belgrove Drive. What do you suppose is causing the slowness in people donating uniforms this year? It just, that was always something that was so perfect. People were coming and bringing them in, dropping them off. Why is it slowed down this year? Do you have any sense of why that is?
The only thing I can think of, honestly, is it's kind of been a de-escalating process since the beginning of it. So in 2022, when we started, I was amazed at how many people. Oh, my air conditioner just popped on. Thank God it wasn't working. Anyway, I've been sitting here like fanning since before we started. So, but either way, um, 2022, I was amazed at how many people showed up in my front lawn to donate uniforms. I think people have
Right.
had them in their basement, probably the same thing I did for years and years, and just didn't know what to do with them and didn't want to throw them away. So that was like the biggest year, and it's been slowly decreasing. And I think that that's a good thing in essence, but it's also not the greatest thing. So I would suggest that people who can afford to buy uniforms, if you're not suffering too much this year, I would go out and buy some new ones this year. Give our local uniform stores the business, and then that way we can kind of like start afresh next year. When your kids grow out of those, donate them to the exchange. I think it's just we're reusing and reusing and recycling over and over and over again, and I think that
Right.
that's what's accounting for so many shortages
Got it.
over the years. So I'm hoping that maybe next year that will start to build up again. It's certainly, we still have the same demand that we've always had. We had over 300 people registered. I got a lot of emails from people saying we couldn't make it. Can we come another time, or can you put some uniforms aside, which I can't do. Unfortunately, we serve too many people.
Yeah.
So I did a reschedule, but yeah, I think it's a process. So hopefully people will start putting the uniforms in the bin again next year more and more, I hope.
Yeah,
Um,
I never really gave much thought to that, but it does make sense. Eventually, clothes are going to start to wear out, and they're not going to be really reusable. And what happens then if people aren't buying new ones anywhere? You're never going to get new ones put into the mix. So it almost feels like you need a break a little bit, almost somewhere in between, so that people can go out and buy some new uniforms. But not everybody can do that. So talk to that a little bit. It's a very difficult process, isn't it?
it is. So actually, the reason why I call it an exchange is for very good reason, because it is an exchange. Like, if you don't want to even have to spend that money, you're welcome at the uniform exchange. I think it's a great thing because we can recycle, reuse. Maybe, if you have that money, like this year, I'm fortunate enough, I am able to. I'm going to be going out and buying my daughter's uniforms instead of using the exchange, so that, those uniforms that would maybe go to her can go to someone else more in need. And also, I can put nice, fresh uniforms back into the exchange program.
Beautiful. The second part of all of this, of course, is the school supply drive. Are people still able to donate? And what are you looking for? What do you need most at this point?
We will take donations right up until the 27th. So right up until the day that we start sorting out those donations, we will take the donations. So we need a lot of things. For whatever reason, markers are on the low this year, which is very unusual. Usually I get too many markers, but markers, folders too. Folders are very, very low.
Wow.
If you do buy folders, buy the plastic, because they last all year. These kids, they shove those folders in their bags and they get worn out. The cardboard ones real easy. So
Yep.
the plastic ones are maybe a cent more, 5 cents more tops. So those are low, but yeah, we are still taking donations actively. Right now we have enough for about 250 bags. I'd like to make it to 300 this year.
Okay, 300 we're looking for. So if somebody has things that they can donate, remind everybody where they bring donations for the supplies.
So for the supplies, you can bring them to the police department, or the fire department, or you can order from our lists, and that just gets shipped right to me.
Okay, and if you need to find where the lists are, where should they go?
They should go to our Facebook page, which has all of that information. Our Facebook page is KNJPS Uniform Exchange. You'll see a picture of my volunteers up there. And it's a nonprofit page. So
While I have you, is there anything else we haven't touched on today? Because I want to make sure we're down to the nitty gritty here, so I don't want to miss anything.
just note that, and this is a big one because I actually haven't heard back from the school board yet on sending out another email blast to the families in Kearney. They get busy over there. They usually eventually get back to me, but just in case, please note our distributions have changed, like changed date wise and changed dynamics. So distributions, last uniform distribution is on the 26th at the American Legion at 7 p.m. We'll be there for 2 hours. The school supplies distribution is on the 2nd, September 2nd, at the Legion at 7 p.m. Also, charter school families. We have made the decision that we will not be hauling our 12 bins of charter school uniforms to the Legion anymore unless we start getting more registrations from charter school families.
Okay.
It's just not worth the effort. It is a lot of work what we do. Like, this is a huge effort. We love it, but it's just becoming unnecessary when only 4 families register. So, yeah, if your child goes to the charter schools, be it elementary, middle, or high school, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., my secretary of my board, Alba Linares, she's also the PTA president over there, she will be distributing uniforms and backpacks to those who registered. So 10 a.m. at the middle school. So that's for all the schools.
Very good. Very good. Jenny, thank you for coming on with us today. Thank you for what you do and for keeping this program going for the last 5 years. Hopefully it will continue for many, many more years. And really, thank you for all of your efforts with this and with all the things you do. We are very, very grateful to you.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you for doing this, Jenny. I'll talk to you later, okay? Thank you.
Okay.
There she is, the one and only Jenny Paz. You've heard about her so often. I always speak about her and all the great things that she does. Looks like we still need some more donations when it comes to the uniforms. I don't quite get it, but it is what it is. So if you have any left over that you want to donate, make sure you drop them off into those places where she mentioned. You know, Melanie just said in the chat room that they had over 500 last year. Now we're talking about only 300. That's a dramatic drop. It really is. So we'll see what happens. But if you have anything left that you want to donate uniform-wise, bring it to those locations. And the same thing for the school supplies as well. Get that going. And the need is for folders and for markers as well. Those are the 2 things that are most needed. Now, on our way out here today, what I wanted to tell you something about something that happened with the Kearney Fire Department. This was something that you may have heard Ed McCune speak about, but a couple of weeks ago, a young baby was choking, and the mom of the child took the baby outside to the house. And fortunately, I guess they live right by Station 2 on Kearney Avenue, the fire department right there. And they pounded on the door. And won't you know that there was a firefighter who was walking down the stairs right at that time. And this firefighter, David Wilczek, saved the baby's life by patting the back of the baby and dislodging what got wedged in the baby's throat. And, you know, we often think about firefighters putting out fires, going to accident scenes and things of that nature, but it's always the small things that we kind of forget about. And it's really remarkable when you think about how important it is having community firehouses all over the place, because at a moment like this, when this woman was in despair and her child was not breathing, she brought the baby to the most logical place right there, the firehouse, and firefighter Wilczek saved the baby's life. And the chief of the fire department, Joe Mastandria, left us a statement, and this was meant to be in print, but it came in too late for us for this week, so I wanted to bring it to your attention today. This is from Chief Joe Mastandrea. I am extremely proud of firefighter Wilczek and his quick actions, which saved a life. This incident highlights the crucial importance of split-second reaction times, continuous training, and the unwavering readiness of our personnel who serve our community 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And how true is that? And so on behalf of all of us here at the Observer, and I'm sure all throughout the town of Kearney, thank you to Kearney firefighter Dave Wilczek for saving this baby's life in a situation that he probably had no idea was going to come his way at that moment. And firefighters are often called into service at a second's notice. And you see what great work they do. And so thank you very much to firefighter Wilczek. And of course, we thank also the chief of the Kearney Fire Department, Joe Mastandrea, for bringing this to our attention. And I also want to thank Eddie McEwen, the president of the FMVA, for telling us about this 1 week ago. And believe it or not, that's going to do it for this edition of the Observer Live. I want to thank, I didn't really get a chance to talk to everybody in the chat room. Melanie Ryan, the deputy mayor of the town of Kearney, is here. My Uncle Mike is here. Carol Manley is here with us as well. And to anybody who may be in the background watching us, one particular person who I know is watching, but doesn't have the ability to speak in the chat room, I say thank you for what you did for me yesterday. I don't want this to go unnoticed, and I hope you know how grateful I am for the kindness that you showed to me. That's for you and me only. Nobody else needs to know what it is about. So thank you so much for being such a great friend all the time. We will be back 1 week from today, if not earlier, if something happens to happen in the course of the time between now and next week. And do me a favor, folks. I don't want to be a pain in the ass here, but I'm going to kind of be right now. We are just 9 subscribers short of getting to the 1,000 mark on our YouTube page, which you can get by going to www.theobserver.live. As soon as we get over to 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be able to do so many different things. So if you can, if you have not yet done so, please go over and like and subscribe our video here today. And the subscription costs absolutely nothing. There is no fee. You know, you hear the word subscription sometimes and people think you have to pay for it. It's completely free. All you need is your Gmail address, and most people have that at this point in time. All right, everybody, we will talk to you soon, and we will see you next week, if not sooner than that. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, everybody. Bye-bye. Talk to you later.